Taoiseach, I wish to raise with you restrictions by the TII which prevents many people from getting planning permission and who wish to exit onto national secondary roads. This is also especially adversely affecting applicants along the N72 from Rathmore to Killarney and from Killarney to Killarney. We're talking about 22 of the 25 miles. Back in 2012, you yourself were tasked by, I suppose, the department to sign a document authorising the NRA, now the TII, not to allow permission to planning applicants to access the national secondary roads. If the road they're coming off of onto the national secondary road is not in the charge of the local authority, this is very unfair, as these roads and junctions are every bit as safe as those that are in the charge of Kerry County Council. Sons and daughters of farmers, landowners, people that have lived and worked their holdings for generations need to build a home for themselves on their own land, to be near their aging parents, to be near their cows, to milk them, to calve them, and to live and work on their own farm, and to work on the farm to live on the farm that they're working. But they are being denied the right by the TII rule. I'm asking you, Taoiseach, where there is already an existing exit onto the N72 serving these holdings, that the TII restrictions be lifted so that the next generation be allowed to build and continue to live at home and as such. My contention is that no extra traffic movements would be created, as they would have been living in their parents' home in the first place. The argument I am making, if a farmer is forced to build or buy a house away from their own farm, he will most definitely generate more traffic movements going to and from his outside home and in and out to his farm or to his aging parents who are in his care. Many of these local roads are public rights-of-way, serving several holdings and houses and farms, and are the same in every way as those that are in the charge of Kerry County Council. But Kerry County Council does not have the funding now to take them in charge now. Those people who pay, these people who pay every tax and abide by every regulation are being blocked by the TII from getting planning permission. I also wish to stress that what I ask is that where there is an existing exit onto the national secondary road and where the site distance at the junctions complies with the required regulations, that planning be allowed for landowners, sons and daughters. The problem for all those who can't get permission on their own land is that they have no hope of getting planning anywhere near their own land holdings, as all the areas surrounding Killarney, Muckross, Kilcummin, Ahedo, Fossa, Beaufort are designated as areas under intense urban pressure, which means no planning for outsiders. So the only option left is Killarney town, where land is making €1 million an acre and where houses are costing 500,000 and 600,000 euros or more.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks very much, Deputy, and thanks for raising this this very important issue. And as you know, the government and the party I lead, and indeed Minister Burke, who's responsible for planning in this area, supports the right of people to build rural housing on land that they own, so they can live in their community and live near their parents, as the case may be. But we have to get the balance right between proper planning and people's right to build their own home on their own land. So what we want to avoid when it comes to national roads is too many traffic movements on and off the road. We want to avoid additional entrances and exits, because that can slow the traffic, which is an irritation for everyone. And also can create road safety issues as well, with lots of people coming on and off a busy national road. But I do agree that there should be a distinction made between existing entrances and exits and new ones. I suppose it just requires a common sense approach and a pragmatic approach, and that should be done on a case-by-case basis. But where there's an existing entrance or exit, I do think that's different and should be treated differently to somebody who wants to create a new one on the road.
Well, Taoiseach, first of all, I'm very grateful for your reply, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. Where there is an existing exit and where it is safe and where it meets all the site distance regulations, I'm asking to please review the regulations that are in place now, because there's a complete blanket ban all the ways from Rathmore, west to Killarney, jump around Killarney then, and from Fossa back to Killarney. It's absolutely ridiculous where farmers, sons and daughters can't get planning permission to put a house, to build a house for themselves and to put a roof over their heads. I say, Taoiseach, that if they have to live outside away from the farm and buy a house somewhere else, they're certainly generating more traffic back and forth to the farm, in and out to the farm and back to the house that they're living in. It doesn't make one iota of sense in the world. And look, I'm all for road safety, and in many of these places that we're talking about, over Longblock, there's 2 miles of a straight road that no problem in seeing the traffic coming. The same back along Dungiel into Killarney. The sight distance, there's plenty of sight distance there, and it's very wrong to refuse these people. Thank you, Thomas.
Thanks, thanks, Deputy, again for raising the issue, and I will take it up with the Minister for Transport and with TII personally. I do think blanket bans on national secondary roads are too extreme. You know, I'm a former Minister for Transport, and national roads are variable. You know, some are big dual carriageways, others are actually quite small roads and can be, and you know, would be a regional road in another country. So I think blanket bans are too extreme, and I do agree that where it is an existing entrance rather than a new one, that should be treated a bit differently for the reasons that you say, that those traffic movements would probably be happening anyway. And that's why I think a pragmatic case-by-case approach should be taken rather than a blanket ban. But as I say, I'm not across the details of the particular road that you raise, and I will talk to Deputy Griffin about it as well, and take it up with the Minister for Transport and TII thereafter.
Thank you.